You've been dreaming about this cruise for months. You booked the cabin. You picked the itinerary. You even practiced saying the ship's name correctly. Embarkation day finally comes, and you're standing in line, excited, ready to start your vacation. And that's exactly when it happens. Security pulls your bag aside.
Sir, we're going to have to confiscate this.
Or worse, you get to your cabin, open your suitcase, and realize you packed completely wrong for the week ahead. This isn't a rare story. It happens to thousands of first-time cruisers every single week. Not because they're careless, but because nobody told them the rules actually change once you step onto a ship. Today we're covering 12 packing mistakes that genuinely ruin the first day, sometimes the entire trip, for cruise passengers. Not the generic, don't forget your toothbrush list. The real mistakes. The ones that get items confiscated, cost you hundreds of dollars on board, or leave you standing on formal night completely out of place. Cruising has become one of the fastest growing ways to travel in the world, with over 30 million passengers sailing every year. And most of them make at least one of these mistakes. The good news, every single one is avoidable. Let's get into it. Number 1. You're packing something that gets confiscated right at security. The first mistake happens before you even board. Cruise ship security is stricter than most airports, and almost nobody expects that. Here's what regularly gets confiscated at the terminal: irons and travel steamers, candles, incense, and anything with an open flame, multi-plug power strips, the kind without surge protection, extension cords, even hair straighteners on some cruise lines if they don't meet wattage limits. The reason is simple. Cabins are small, wiring is older on many ships, and fire at sea is one of the most dangerous emergencies a crew can face. So cruise lines enforce this hard. If your item gets flagged, you won't get a warning. It goes into a bag, gets a claim ticket, and you pick it up on the last day of the trip. That means no iron for formal night. No extension cord for charging 4 devices. Here's the fix. Check your specific cruise line's prohibited items list the week before you sail. It changes slightly between lines like Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian. And if you need extra outlets, bring a power strip that specifically says no surge protector. Those are almost always allowed. It's a $5 difference that saves you a very awkward conversation at security. Number 2. You're packing essentials in your checked luggage. This is the mistake that catches new cruisers off guard almost every time. On embarkation day, you drop your big suitcase off at the terminal. It doesn't go straight to your cabin. It gets sorted, loaded, and delivered by cabin crew, and that can take hours. In some cases, your bag doesn't arrive until dinner time. Occasionally, it doesn't arrive until the next morning. So if you packed your swimsuit, your medication, your phone charger, or your formal outfit for tonight, all in that one checked bag, you're stuck. Experienced cruisers do this differently. They pack a carry-on with everything they'll need for the first 6 to 8 hours on board. That means swimsuit and cover-up, so you can hit the pool the moment you board. All daily medication. Never pack this in checked luggage, ever. Phone charger and any electronics you need immediately. A change of clothes in case your suitcase is delayed into the evening. And copies of your important documents. Treat your carry-on like it's your entire trip for day 1. Because on a ship, that's exactly what it is. Number 3. You think formal night is optional. Here's a phrase that trips up almost every first-time cruiser. Formal night. Some people picture a suggestion, a nice to have, something you can skip with a polo shirt and jeans. That's not quite accurate. Most mainstream cruise lines hold 1 to 2 formal nights per week-long cruise. And while enforcement varies by line, some are relaxed, some are strict, showing up underdressed can mean being turned away from the main dining room, or feeling noticeably out of place in a room full of suits and dresses. The confusion usually comes from this. People assume formal means tuxedo-level formal. It doesn't on most lines. For most cruises, formal realistically means, for men, a collared dress shirt, dress pants, and a blazer if you have one. A full suit is optional, not required. For women, a cocktail dress or a nice top with dress pants or a skirt. The real mistake isn't skipping a tuxedo. It's packing zero dressy options at all because you assumed you could get away with resort casual every single night. Check your specific itinerary before you pack. Most cruise lines list exact dress code nights right in your online cruise planner. One nice outfit solves this entire problem. Number 4. You're packing just in case for everything. This mistake doesn't get anything confiscated, but it will absolutely wear you out. Overpacking for just-in-case scenarios is one of the most common mistakes on any cruise. 3 pairs of dress shoes you'll wear once. 5 swimsuits for a 4-day trip. An outfit for every possible weather scenario that will never actually happen. The result? A suitcase you can barely lift, a cabin with nowhere to put anything, and stairs on embarkation day that suddenly feel like a workout. Most cruise cabins have significantly less storage than a hotel room, often just a small closet and a few drawers. The fix is a simple rule experienced cruisers swear by. Pack for the exact number of days plus 2 spare outfits, no more. Choose clothing that can be mixed and matched rather than a full new outfit for every single day. And remember, almost every cruise ship has a laundry service or self-service laundry room. You genuinely don't need 14 outfits for a 7-night cruise. Less luggage means less stress, more room in your cabin, and a much easier time at security. Number 5. You forgot a reusable water bottle. This one sounds small. It isn't. Most cruise lines do not include free bottled water in your cabin or at the pool. If you don't bring your own bottle, you'll be paying for bottled water or premium drink packages just to stay hydrated on a hot deck all day. On many ships, a bottle of water can cost between $3 and $5. Over a 7-day cruise, that adds up fast, especially in warm weather itineraries like the Caribbean or the Mediterranean, where you're outside for hours at a time. Here's the good news. Every major cruise line allows an empty, reusable water bottle. Most also allow a limited amount of bottled water or soda in your carry-on, depending on the specific line's policy. Bring an empty bottle, fill it at the free water stations near the buffet or pool deck, and you've solved an entire category of unnecessary spending before you even board. Number 6. You wait until you're seasick to do something about it. Here's a mistake that ruins more first days at sea than almost anything else on this list. Waiting until you feel seasick to do something about it. Motion sickness can affect anyone, even people who never get car sick, especially on the first day at sea or during rougher itineraries. And once the nausea starts, most remedies become far less effective. Experienced cruisers treat this differently. They pack motion sickness remedies before they even feel anything and start using them as a precaution from day 1, not as a reaction. Common options people bring: over-the-counter motion sickness tablets, acupressure wristbands, and ginger candies for milder cases. If you know you're sensitive to motion, it's worth speaking to a pharmacist before your trip about the right option for you. And a practical tip almost nobody mentions: booking a cabin in the middle of the ship on a lower deck means you'll feel significantly less motion than a cabin at the front or back or on a high floor. A little preparation here can be the difference between enjoying your first day at sea and spending it in your cabin. Number 7. You're not packing for multiple climates. Cruise itineraries often move through completely different climates in a single week, and this genuinely surprises people. You might leave port in cool, breezy weather, sail through blazing hot days at sea, and then dock at a chilly mountain port or an air-conditioned excursion bus that feels like winter. Packing only for hot beach vacation leaves you shivering on deck at night, in the dining room, or during shoulder season itineraries like Alaska or the Mediterranean in spring. The fix is packing in layers, not packing for one single climate. A light jacket or sweater for evenings on deck. It gets breezier than people expect once the sun goes down at sea. A packable rain layer, since sudden weather is common at sea regardless of season. And at least one warmer layer if your itinerary includes any cooler ports, even on a tropical cruise. Check the actual weather for each port on your itinerary individually, not just the region as a whole. Some cruises visit 3 completely different climates in a single week. Number 8. You're bringing the wrong kind of power strip. This connects back to mistake number 1, but it deserves its own spot because of how often it's misunderstood. People assume any power strip will be confiscated. That's not entirely true, and the confusion leaves a lot of passengers with only one outlet for 2 people and 4 devices. The rule most cruise lines follow is specifically about surge protectors, not power strips in general. A power strip with surge protection gets flagged and confiscated because of the fire risk from certain electrical faults. A simple non-surge power strip, or a USB charging hub with multiple ports, is almost always allowed. Before you pack, check your specific cruise line's website for their exact wording. Some list approved brands or types. Bringing the right one means you're not fighting over a single outlet for your phone, your watch, your camera, and your partner's devices every single night. Number 9. You don't have enough cash for tipping and port days. Cruising is often marketed as an all-inclusive vacation, and in many ways, it is. But cash still matters more than people expect. Most cruise lines add automatic daily gratuities to your onboard account, typically between $14 and $18 per person, per day, depending on the cruise line and cabin type. That part is usually automatic. Where people get caught off guard is at the ports. Many port vendors, local taxi drivers, and small shops in port towns operate cash only, especially in smaller Caribbean or Central American ports. On board, some services like the casino or small purchases from crew also work better with cash on hand. The practical fix: bring a mix of small bills in the local currency or US dollars, which are widely accepted in most cruise ports worldwide. Keep it separate from your cabin, ideally in a small crossbody bag you can bring on excursions. And don't rely on finding an ATM the moment you dock. Lines can be long, and fees are often high. A little cash planning before you leave home saves you from missing out on port day experiences simply because you didn't have the right currency in hand. Number 10. You're relying only on your phone for documents. This mistake feels convenient right up until it isn't. Many travelers now keep everything digital: boarding documents, passport photos, hotel confirmations, all saved on their phone. The problem is that cruise ships have unreliable cell service once you're at sea or in smaller ports. Wi-Fi packages can be expensive, and phones die, get lost, or get damaged more often than people expect on an active vacation. If your phone becomes unavailable right when you need to show ID for boarding, for an excursion check-in, or re-entering the ship in port, it becomes a real problem, fast. Experienced cruisers always carry physical backups: a printed copy of your boarding documents, a physical copy of your passport photo page, printed excursion confirmations, and a written list of important contacts and account numbers. Keep the originals safe, but bring copies you can access without a working phone. It takes 5 minutes before your trip, and it's the kind of preparation you'll never regret having. Number 11. You forgot the right kind of sunscreen. Sun exposure on a cruise is more intense than most people plan for, and this genuinely surprises first-time cruisers. You're often at sea level, surrounded by reflective water, with little shade on the pool deck for hours at a time. Many popular cruise destinations sit close to the equator, where UV levels are significantly higher than what most travelers are used to at home. The mistake isn't just forgetting sunscreen, it's bringing the wrong kind. Many popular snorkeling and beach excursion destinations now require reef-safe sunscreen, meaning formulas without oxybenzone and octinoxate, which can damage coral reefs. Some excursion operators will not let you in the water without it, and it can be hard to find once you're already on a small island. Pack reef-safe SPF 30 or higher, reapply every 2 hours you're outside, and bring a hat and a light long-sleeve layer for extended time on deck. It's a small line item in your packing list that prevents a genuinely painful rest of your trip. Number 12. And then, on your first port day, you realize you packed your priorities wrong. This last one isn't about a specific item, it's about a mindset shift that almost every experienced cruiser eventually reaches. Most first-time cruisers pack for the ship, the pool, the dining room, the theater at night. But the moments people talk about most, years later, usually happen on shore. A hike to a waterfall, a walk through an old town, a beach only reachable by a short boat ride. And that's where one final, simple mistake shows up again and again. Not packing a proper day bag for excursions. A small comfortable bag that holds your water bottle, sunscreen, cash, your physical documents, and a light layer, everything from this list, together in one place ready to grab on port morning. Once cruisers figure this out, usually around their second or third trip, everything gets easier. Packing stops feeling like a chore full of rules. It starts feeling like second nature. You know exactly what goes in the carry-on, what goes in the day bag, and what you genuinely never needed in the first place. That's the real shift that happens somewhere between your first cruise and every cruise after that. So those are 12 packing mistakes that genuinely ruin the first days of a cruise vacation. The ones worth remembering most: pack your medication, valuables, and one full outfit in your carry-on, never checked luggage. Check your specific cruise line's prohibited items list before you pack a single power strip. Bring cash for port days. Pack in layers, not for one single climate. And build yourself a proper day bag before you ever step off the ship. None of these mistakes are really about packing. They're about understanding how a cruise actually works, not how people imagine it works. And once you know the rules, cruising becomes one of the easiest, most relaxing ways to travel in the world. If this video helped you, drop a comment below. Which one of these almost happened to you? And if you're planning your first cruise, check out our other videos on choosing the right cabin, booking your first excursion, and budgeting for onboard spending. See you in the next one.